Hello, everybody. So, what I like to do in these 90-minute workshops is like a really condensed version of what goes into an introduction course. So you have Introduction to Arabic online that you can access 100% for free, which I recommend you do this after the workshop. And this is kind of like a skeleton version of that, seeing all the most essential things. And then the online course, of course, is more paced because you can pause it and take your time to answer. So in your own time, and there's a lot more detail. So today is a kind of high energy event where I want all of your attention really fixated with me for 90 minutes because we're going to see a massive amount of information today, but we're not going to try to memorize it. We're going to apply it, building sentences, and then forget it. We're not worried about remembering words or details. We're just worried about applying it. Now, those will connect our neurons in a nice Arabic way, to make Arabic. I'm talking about Arabic though, and that's a kind of odd word to describe a language or languages in the way we describe languages generally. So I think if we imagine the Mediterranean, it gives us a really good example of that, right? So in the north of the Mediterranean, we have all these dialects of Latin or Romance languages, which we call Portuguese, Spanish, French, Catalan, etc., right? And then on the south of the Mediterranean, we go Arabic. But the diversity in those languages is the same as the north, or even more in some ways. So all of those Arabics are very different. So what are we learning when we learn Arabic? That's a really complicated question. Some people learn MSA, which is Modern Standard Arabic, which is an odd choice really, because it's kind of like learning Latin, because there's no native speakers of Modern Standard Arabic. It's something that educated people use in formal settings. So what we will focus on, and what I decided to focus on in my online course, is Egyptian Arabic, because it was traditionally the cultural language of the Arab world. All the music and the movies were coming from Egyptian, so everybody knew Egyptian. And also Egyptian has a reputation of being really funny and cocky, so it kind of sticks with people. Where I know the differences with Palestinian Arabic, for example, if that's the focus of interest, I will mention it, but they're just odd bits and pieces. I know we're going to focus on Egyptian, but the way Arabic works and the way I'm going to teach it is that the things we learn apply to all types of Arabic and even other Semitic languages as well. So you can understand some things from Hebrew in the same way that you would understand some things in a totally different Arabic dialect like Moroccan, because it works in the same way. So one of the most interesting and distinguishing features about Arabic and other Semitic languages as well, like Hebrew or Aramaic, for example, is what we call the root system. So these are combinations of sounds that have certain meanings, when they come together. So I think most people know I've heard the word habibi. Do you know what it means? My dear, dearest, my friend, something like that, right? My beloved. So the E there is giving it my. Habib is like beloved or dearest. So if you ignore the vowels and you find the consonants, we get ha, ba, ba in Habib. And this relates to love. Ha, ba, ba relates to love. So then other words that have something to do with loving and liking come from the same roots. So the word hob, with double B, hob, means love. And then mahbub, for example, it has the ma at the beginning, that's something else. You still see the hababa, mahbub, means popular. So we go back to hababa. What we do with that hababa is called patterns. We're putting that in different patterns. So basically, in a nutshell, what is Arabic and what are Semitic languages generally? You have consonant sets that have certain meanings related to them, and then patterns you put them in to find words. We even have this in some words in English that we got through Arabic. Well, actually, this one came through Swahili, interestingly enough. Safari, right? So if we get rid of the vowels, what are the consonants in the word safari? Safara. And those are our roots that have to do with traveling. Safari, traveling, safara. All right. So we get hababa for loving. We get safara for traveling. We can look at other words in English as well. Sherbet. You remember sherbet? That's sweet. That comes from a sweet drink in Arabic. Syrup also shares this root. They've changed a little bit, but the root is sh-r-b, sh-r-b, which is to do with drinking and smoking, which according to Arabic is a similar action. Now that's interesting. So shurba, as in sherbet, syrup, has to do with drinking, and then mashroob, for example, is a drink. No, then we have the ma, like we had in mahbub, popular. So the roots are usually three consonants. They can be repeated, like hababa, no, or we can have like shurba for drinking, sufara for traveling. They can be two consonants, they can be four, but usually it's three. Cool word that comes from sufara, sifara. It means embassy. So, you know, embassy has a totally different root in English than to travel. But that's got to do with traveling, so Arabic uses safara, sifara, for embassy. You can also use your friends' names in Arabic to learn words and to learn new roots as well. So, very common name in Arabic, Kareem. Everyone heard that name? Kareem? Ka-ra-ma are the roots for being generous. And Kareem actually means generous. So now you can say, I'm generous in Arabic. You need the word for I, which is ana. That's I or I am, so ana. So you can say, I'm generous, ana Kareem, or if you're female, ana Karima. So you have Kareem and Karima. Also with the names, you have Kareem and Karima. So that can mean, Ana Kareem can mean my name is Kareem, or it can mean I'm generous. And actually Arabs make jokes on this play of words, especially around Ramadan, because you have Ramadan Kareem. I don't know if you've heard that, like you're wishing someone a generous Ramadan. So when you wish that to a Kareem, you might make a joke. So, Ana Kareem, Ana Karima, I'm generous. You might have heard the word Amin. Amin, the name. Amin means honest. So that's another word you can use. So when you make friends and you learn their names, you can ask what their name means, pretend you're interested, you learn a word. So if you want to say, I'm honest. Good, I heard both, brilliant. Ana Amin, Ana Amina, either, good. Good. So words like generous, Kareem, honest, Amin, are adjectives, which mean they change for gender, no? And we see a grey area here between adjectives and nouns, because we have like Kareem meaning generous, and then Kareem as a name, it's a noun, it's a naming word. We also have a grey area in Arab. I kind of want to get on the table and dance to that. We also have in Arabic a grey area between adjectives and verbs, describing words and doing words. So for example, shayif, in Arabic, shayif, it means seeing or seen, but like an adjective, like all-seeing, no? You say God is all-seeing, that's like an adjective. So shayif is like an adjective, but you can use it like a verb to say I see. So there's a grey area there as well, between adjectives and verbs in Arabic. So what was the word for I? So if you want to say I see, and a shayif, or if we're female and we put the the little e, the small e will get swallowed up, because it's kind of hard to say shayfa, 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 and a shayfa, and a shayfa. Good. So we can. Sorry?
Gender agreement for verbs as well as.
So it's not actually a verb, it's an adjective that's behaving like a verb, which is weird. So we know it's an adjective because it's doing this gender thing.
Okay.
No, we have verbs separately in Arabic, you know, but interestingly, we have this grey area between adjectives and nouns, like with Ana Kareem, I'm generous, Ana Kareem, my name is Kareem, and also this grey area between adjectives and verbs. Shayif is actually an adjective, meaning seeing, and Ana Shayif, Ana Shayfa, I see.
Is it rather an I see, like I understand, rather than...
No, like quite literal. Yeah. Well, both. You can use it figuratively as well, but it's also quite literal. You know, you can say like, do you see the house, for example. The house is il bet. That's beta, by the way. Alpha, beta, they have the same root. I don't know if I have enough time to go into that. But you can say, I see the house, for example. How would you do that?
Ana shayfa il-bayt.
Good. Ana shayfa il-bayt. I see the house. So we want to get in a habit when we come across new meanings in Arabic of working out, just thinking what are the roots. Not trying to memorize it, just going, oh, what are the roots there? So we remove the vowels in shayif, and what consonants are we left with?
Schiffe.
Good, but consonants quite literally in the English sense, right? So Y is real. Oh, all right, not that literally. Brilliant. Y is a consonant. So sh your foot. But I like how literal you went. So no, sh is just one sound, right? So even though we have two consonants there, that's just counts as one. Sh your foot. So sh your foot are our roots for seeing. Has anybody? You guys might be too young for this, but has anyone heard take a shufti in English? Yeah, I knew it. That's military slang, kind of eerily. Take a look. No, that's like that's the past tense, shufti. So that you see the root sounds there. Show your for seeing. So I see or I see. I'm seeing an ashayif and a shayfa. So we have a long vowel and a short vowel there, shayif, and it's the short vowel that disappears when we put the a on the end. Just out of interest, just to mention, in Arabic we don't write short vowels, you only write the long vowels, and that's because they can disappear in this way, no? Shayif, shayfa. But let's practice it with something else, right? So, rayeh, say that, it's a fun sound to make. Rayeh. This is my favourite sound, well, there's a lot of sounds in Arabic that allow you to release tension, which is important. And this is one of them. Breathy H. It's the kind of H you make when you clean your glasses. Or when you say Harry. It's the only word in English that has it. All right, so rayeh. Now, you might not notice that it's such a similar word to shayif because the consonants are different. But it's the same pattern. Shayif. What defines the pattern of the vowels in between? I, shayif, rayeh. Which, I'm not sure if I told you yet, means going. Rayeh. Rayeh. Out loud. We've got to connect the neurons to the mouth. Rayeh. Enjoy that sound. It's not the good, that's the feminine, right. So that was my next question. For the feminine, we're going to add an A, but that literally, rayeh, that the vowel is small, even though the H goes on for like half a minute. Rayeh. Releasing tension. The vowel is small, so that will go when you add the A for the feminine. So how does rayeh become in the feminine? Rayha. Rayha. So what are the roots there that have to do with going and coming? We're not with going and coming, sorry, we're just going. Ha. Ha. Rayah. Good. For the negative, we have mish. That's really simple. We just say mish. So, for example, I'm going. Give me the positive first. I'm going. Ana rayah, ana rayha. And if you want to say I'm not going, you say ana mish. And if you say it really fast, like in fluent speak, it's just like a mush, ana mish. So, you want to give that a go? Ana mush or mish. The small vowels also, the little vowels, you can hear them change a lot depending on the speaker, on the dialect. Mush mish, ana mish, rayah, ana mish, rayha. Gay was come. Gay. With a double Y. Gay. What's the feminine? Gaya. The g in Egyptian will sound j in the Levant. So, and a gaya, I'm not coming. Anamish gaya, anamish gay. Good. How would you say I'm not generous? Anamish kareem. You can say that when you don't pay. Anamish kareem. Ana for I, and then for you, for male, you have enter. Enter. So talking to a male, you could ask a question. You could say, are you going? We don't need to change any word order or add any words like do for questions in Arabic. We just make it sound like a question with our voice. So, are you going? Gay was come. What was go? Enterayeh. Enterayeh. Good. So all you have to do to make the question Arabic is intonation. Enterayeh. Aren't you coming? Antamish. Oh no. All right. Aren't you going? Antamish rayeh. Aren't you coming? Antamish gay. What was to see? When you want to try and remember a word, you should try to remember the first sound. So good what you did. Sh. Once you remember the first sound, the rest is likely to. So what is it? Shayif. Shayif. Don't you see? أنت مش شايف. And always masculine with these sentences because أنت is masculine. The feminine is أنتِ. أنتِ. So how would you say, do you see talking to a female? أنتِ شايفة. Don't you see? The word for where in Arabic or in Egyptian Arabic is fen. Fen. In Palestine, I'm pretty sure it's when. But yeah, both are understood. Fen, when. The most common position for question words is after the verb, right? So if you want to say where you're going, you say, you're going where? You're going where? Enter raya fen. Enter raya fen. Good. And talking to a female, we have two changes there. Enter changes. Enti. Rai. So the ha is part of the... Bravo. Enti rai hafen. Good. Where are you going? Enti rai hafen. The word for understanding in Arabic, understanding, is fahim. Fahim. So again, it's one of these adjectives we can use like a verb. No. You can say somebody is understanding, no. But then you can say I understand. So, in masculine or feminine, I understand from fahim. Ana fahim, ana fahma. Because what happens to that little e? Good. The H here is just the H like in the word here. Fahma. It's not the h. So as much as we might enjoy that sound, we don't want to overgeneralize it. No? Here's like an English H, right? Normal H, how we will see it now as English speakers. Like in here. Fahma. Fahim. Good. So, I don't understand. Ana mish fahim, ana mish fahma. And now we can say, I don't understand where you're going. We know the where is going to come after the verb, so we're going to say, I don't understand you going where. So the first bit, I don't understand. All our mental energy is just on the first bit. We don't need to think about the second bit yet. Ana mish fahim, ana mish fahma. You're going where? Let's talk to a male. Enter. Bravo. Enter raya fen. Ana mish fahim, enter raya fen. Or talking to a female, ana mish fahim. أنا مش فاهم أنت رايحة فين. Good. So we notice that again فاهم, it's the same pattern as رايح, شايف, فاهم. No? Good. So if you don't remember the words, it doesn't matter. Actually, you can even just say like, Mihalis, what's the word? The important thing is the structures, what we're learning about how the words work, not how we're applying it. We get one of these adjective verb things from safara as well. It's just slightly different. So rather than safir, it's misafir. We get this little mit at the beginning, and we'll see mi, ma, mo. They're very common in these patterns. They pop up a lot in these patterns. We saw it in mahbub, no, that I mentioned was popular from hababa. So the ma is not part of the root, it's part of the pattern. So misafir is travel for male, no? And for female? Misafra. Very good. Right? So now you can say, I travel, or I don't travel. Let's go straight for I don't travel. I don't travel. Ana mish misafir, ana mish misafra. Let's talk to a female and say, where are you traveling? You travel where? Enti misafra fen. Good. Enti misafra fen. Misafra. Yeah, so that's a exception to the general rule, right? Safir follows the same pattern as raya, fahim, but we get a little mi there at the beginning. Misafir, misafra. Right, so don't try to memorize any of this. Shake it all off, shake it all off. Huh? We want your mind clear just to apply all your mental energy to the task. The more mental energy you have to apply to the task, the more Arabic installing we're doing. The mental energy that you have trying to remember anything is just useless burnt energy. And then usually the thing you're trying to memorize when you're trying to recall it, it won't come because you put it somewhere else when you're memorizing it. It's really weird, but it works like that. So we're going to let it all go, shake it off. New word. The word for tomorrow in Arabic is bukra. Bukra. Short vowel. Bukra. You like that one? That's a nice hit spot, did it? All right. So you could say, for example, Ahmed is going tomorrow. We can use our adjectives in this way as well to talk about like the third person, no? So how would you say that? Ahmed's going tomorrow. Good. Ahmed رايح بكرة. Where is Ahmed going tomorrow? I set you up for that mistake so I could correct it. Some of you made it. So the fen is not coming at the end of the sentence, it's coming after the verb. No? So we're going to say Ahmed رايح فين بكرة. No? So our brains want to generalize. That's why I put that little trap so we could correct it. Our brains want to say question word at the end, but it's more like after the verb. There's some flexibility in Arabic, but that's the general place you'd put it. The word for school in Arabic is madrasa. Madrasa. So we already know quite a few sets of roots associated with different meanings, and we've looked briefly at patterns as well. No? Recognise some patterns like the adjective verb pattern, raya, fahim, musafir. And we have a good base of roots as well, no? Let's recap some of them. Safara, what does it refer to? Travel. Shafara. Shayafa, sorry. Seeing, yes. You got it right, even though I got the roots wrong there. I don't know what that means. But so if we have a good base of common roots and common patterns, we can invent vocabulary in Arabic. So like I said, we always want to be looking out for both patterns and roots, which is such a fun way to learn a language. Every word you come across, you're going to be trying to suss out what the root and the pattern is. So in madrasa, what are the roots? So, some of you have figured out,
Is ma part of the word?
ma tends to be part of the pattern, doesn't it? No, as we saw in misafir, no, in mahbub. Even Muhammad, actually, the difference between Ahmed, Muhammad, they both have hamada, they're just in different patterns. Ahmed is in one pattern and Muhammad is in another pattern. More is part of the pattern. So, seeing that more is part of the pattern, what are the roots there? Madrasa. Darasa. Good. So those are our roots to do with like teaching and courses. The word for course, for example, is dars. So this is a dars. Darasa. So madrasa actually is a pattern that shows us where the studying's done. So ma shows us it's where, and then along with the rest of the pattern. So where the study happening means school. Madrasa, school. Or il madrasa, the school. Kutub are the roots for writing and books. Kutub. So, if we put kutub into our madrasa pattern, we're going to get the place the writing happens, or the place the books happen. So, first let's work out what that word is in English. Where is the place the books happen? Library. But because Arabic vocabulary is designed in this way, it might be library, but it might also be another place where books happen. Bookstore. Yeah. Who said that? Library and bookstore, right? So, il maktaba, we get library and bookstore. So you can say, are you going to the library? How do we say that? Let's talk to a male. Are you going to the library? Yeah, I didn't mention, you don't need the word for to, actually. You can just say the library. So, how is that? Raya. Raya. أنت رايح المكتبة. Can you see the bookstore? Again to a male. أنت شايف the bookstore. المكتبة. We have il for the now in yeah. Let's do it for female. Do you see the bookstore? Talking to a female. Good. أنتِ شايفة المكتبة? Good. So maktaba, you have library or bookstore. That's a feminine noun. It ends a. If we make it masculine, we get rid of the a. What do we get? Maktab. And this is another place that writing happens. So what are other places writing happens? Office. Yeah. And also where else does a writing happen? I'm sure that probably uses these roots, but I don't really know how you say that in Arabic.
Publishing house.
But desk, a desk. So maktab can be office or desk. So you can say, what was the word for tomorrow?
Why?
Because now you know why.
Why are you pointing at me?
What? Because you liked it. The word for tomorrow. Bukra. Bukra. So you can say, are you going to the office tomorrow?
But I'm listening to you and trusting the process.
But the words, forgetting words is so not important. The important thing is how to put the sentence together. So the process also though is thinking it through. So if you're just following me, you have to participate in the process. You have to try and build the sentence. If some of you actually, I'm going to pause you guys for a while. We're going to, so everyone feels like they have time to build the sentence. Because maybe when you start hearing other people, it interrupts the thought process. So let's do that again. And only when I lower my hand, we will start saying the word, right? Until then, it's going to be like thinking time, no? So we're going to say to a female, are you going to the office tomorrow? Are you going to the office tomorrow? Good, I think I heard offices and libraries. Enti raiha il-maktab, the masculine is office and desk. Il-maktab bukra. Good. So like I say, you don't need to try and memorize these words. It's just about understanding how Arabic works. So then with the most minimal exposure, you can work so much stuff out. With a translation of a sentence, you can work so much stuff out. You can ask how to say a word to someone, and you can work so much out from that word. No? Also, when someone tells you a word, if you can decipher that you know familiar roots in that word, it becomes easier to remember. Like, otherwise, to remember a word like empathy is going to be harder, but when you notice that it has sufuru in it, it sticks with you. So how would you say, I'm not going to school tomorrow? Or the school, we will say in Arabic. I'm not going to the school tomorrow. So when I lower my hand out loud, until then, mental time. I'm not going to the school tomorrow. We ready? أنا مش رايحة المدرسة بكرة. So always in a sentence, don't rush yourself. Don't rush yourself in the sentence. Give yourself all the time you need to think about how to build the word. And I'll tell you for why. Not all the sentence needs the same amount of thought. The bit here that requires the thought is the raiha bit. And then the rest is just words. So don't feel rushed to get to them. No. The mental bit is أنت مش رايحة, and then it's المدرسة بكرة. You don't have to do anything with those words other than record them. So we give ourselves, I repeat this a lot on my audio courses, think slowly to learn quickly. There's nothing truer than that, when you're pushing yourself and your brain is rushing with how fast you're pushing yourself, you don't digest it. So I will do more of this hand raising. All right. The word for knowing in Arabic is, this is another of my favorite sounds, عارف. All right, so the ayn. So this is a special sound, another tension releasing sound, no? Like our nice breathy right. So firstly, this is a consonant. It's not the Arabic A. So again, we don't want to generalize and start making all of our A's like which a lot of Arabic learners do sometimes. This is an Arabic A, it's a consonant. And why is it a consonant, even though it kind of sounds like an A, is because we restrict the airflow with the throat. Vowels don't do that. Vowels are all I-E-O-U. And then ein, and this is my favorite sound to demonstrate. Imagine you're at the dentist, right? And you're going, and then he sticks like that mirror in your mouth, right? A bit too far. And you go, Sorry, I know that's gross, but that's literally the sound, right? So it's a lower tightening here, and if it's very unnatural for an English speaker, but it's a very Arabic sound. عارف, عارف, So it's also a bit like r, but tighter. No. So عارف, and the it's not as aggressive as it sounds, by the way, because it's just a normal sound in Arabic. The feminine, the female, عارفة. عارف. We put the A on, we lose the little E on the end. عارفة. عارفة. Because it would be hard to say عارفة. It's too much. عارفة. Good. So that's no, super useful. Now you can say I don't know. Good. And by the way, words like ana, enta, enti, they're optional. If it's understood who you mean, you will often hear in Arabic مش عارف, because it's clear you mean ana. No, unless someone asks you very directly, أنا مش عارف, I don't have anything to do with it, you know? أنا مش عارف. Otherwise, مش عارف, مش عارفة. So you could say, I don't know where you're going. How would you say that? I don't know where you're going. I don't know you're going where. So I don't know, that's the first bit. Don't get shy about this sound now. أنا مش عارف, أنا مش عارفة, أنا مش عارفة. You have to break through all of this British timidness with language, with this ein sound. And just remember, the more you do it, the more normal you'll sound in Arabic. Good. All right. So I don't know. أنا مش عارف, أنا مش عارفة where you're going. So the roots for going were ريح. And let's talk to a male. So you're going where? The roots for going were ريح. That's all you need to be reminded of to build the sentence. Enter. There you would use it because you're changing person. أنا مش عارف. Enter. So there you would use the word for you for the contrast. Enter. رايح. فين. Good. أنا مش عارف. أنت رايح فين. I don't know where the school is. So we're going to say the school is where. We don't have is in this sense in Arabic. We leave it out. So we're going to say, I don't know the school where. So how would that be? So you think, oh, I don't know school. And then what you need to ask yourself is, what were the roots for school? What did that have to do with darasa? Okay, does that bring anything to me? Madrasa. Good. أنا مش عارف, أنا مش عارفة.
Thank you, I don't want to leave.
المدرسة فين? I don't know where the office is. All right, raised hands again to have time to think it out. I don't know where the office is. So we think office, what was that about? That was about writing. So the first bit is I don't know. أنا مش عارف. أنا مش عارفة. Where is the office where? المكتب فين?
So we don't have any is.
No. You do in other circumstances, but not in these kind of casual sentences. No. Yeah, so not so generally in Arabic you have it, but not in like the present to be. Let's learn some new words with ein. No. By the way, ein by itself means I in Arabic. Like, yeah, sorry, yeah, not ana, no, as in I, which you will hear in Arabic music all the time because eyes are romantic in all languages. No. New words with ein. And means at. And. Ein, A and D. And. So there's a little A, because otherwise you couldn't put an and a together. And, it means at. So you could say, are you at the school? No. So can you say the word for you or not, depending on context if you want to put it in. So enta, enti. At. And. The school. المدرسة. Good. أنت عند المدرسة. أنت عند المدرسة. Good. You can also use and at to say, for example, like I'm at Kareem's place. I'm at Amin's place. No, you just say I'm at Amin. I'm at Kareem. So you can give that meaning as well. We don't have the am. We leave it out. So it's just I at Kareem. I'm at Amin's place. Give me that one first. Ana and Amin. So what I'm building up to telling you actually is a very interesting fact about Arabic. Is that in Arabic you can't have three consonants together. Because the consonants are so important, because they're root sounds, and that's, how we decipher their meaning. You won't have three consonants together in Arabic, which is why like a lot you'll hear in, Arabic speakers of English that have an accent, and even those that don't have a strong accent say things like months instead of months. because their brain is just like, NTHS, go away. Oh, right.
My dad.
Or workman. I don't know if anybody saw this infamous podcast a little while ago. An Egyptian guy talking about the pyramids and workman, and he was saying workman, 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 workman. Yeah, workman, workman. Because the rakama can't come together. So when we say like and, if you want to say and karim, then we have not the k altogether. So Arabic puts what we call a little helping vowel just to flow over. So you have ana and the karim. And the karim. So that's just what you hear month is. Yeah, right? Good. So if you want to say, for example, I'm at Said's place. Anyone heard of the city Port Said? Yeah. That's actually got an ayn in it. That's Port Said. So Port Said, Said is a name. So you can say, I'm at Said's place. Anna and Said. If you're saying it slowly, Anna and Said. You don't need the helping vowel if you say it that slowly. No one speaks that slowly. So you'd say, Anna and Said. Anna and... Oh, my throat's getting a workout today.
Question, because one of the A's are sometimes consonants. So with this trebling of consonants, that wouldn't play a role, would it?
A is a consonant. It's not the Arabic A. No, so Arabic has an A, has a long A. That's actually the line, that one line that you see often in Arabic. That's the A or either. But Ain, that's a consonant. I'm not sure if I'm exaggerating it today just to put it across, but the more I hear myself, oh, this is what Egypt sounds like. Yeah. You lived, right? It's how it sounds, no? Yeah. It just sounds really, because I've not been around it, it sounds like, and because I've not been doing it, like it's literally making my throat sore. All right, so and at. Another word that uses ayn, so we can practice our lovely ayn, is ashen or alashen, either, meaning because. So you have alashen or ashen. Ashen, people tend to just cut it, right? Ashen, to mean because. Ashen. And literally, I know it's weird, right? But if you want to just experience how it should feel, do the dentist thing, right? Just go, ah. You don't have to get far in your mouth, like, before it tenses, right? That's it. That is the sound, right? Languages are wonderful. It is amazing, the resources, like, and we'll get to the glottal stop as well, which is also a sound in Arabic. Yeah, the Cockney glottal stop. Oh, really? The glottal stop? Your favourite sound is silence, then? That's interesting.
I just like how it sounds.
So do you like Cockney, or you only like it in Arabic?
I do like it. I'm a big Danny Dyer fan.
Bottle of water.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So you can say, I'm going, because Ahmed is at the office. Guess that'll make sense in some context, won't it? I'm going. So what's the first bit? I'm going. Ana رايح, ana رايحة, because just we think of the first sound, which we know is ayn, because we were practicing it. Good. Ashen or alashen, because Ahmed at the office. Ashen, Ahmed, and the office. I'm going because Ahmed's at the office. أنا رايح علشان Ahmed and المكتب. Good. The word for we in Arabic, which I mentioned you won't use unless you want to show it's we, just like anta, and you don't need to use it, is ehna. What sound do we have there? Breathy H. Ahna. That's we. So that's the same H sound as habibi. No, our breathy H. Now ahna is plural. Ahna is actually the plural of ana. We is the plural of I. Isn't that nice and poetic, right? We have one I, and then plural I is we. Ana, ahna. So, well, not really, because interestingly, the a, it's feminine with adjectives, but then with pronouns, you have enter, don't you? For the masculine. So that's contextual, that are being feminine with adjectives. For ahna, actually what we have is plural. And then for the adjectives, we want to make the adjectives plural as well, with in. So, for example, if we want to say we are coming, what was coming? Gay. And then if you want to say we are coming, we're going to say gayin. Then we're going to add the plural. No? So again, it's really acting like an adjective, right? Even though we're using it like a verb. So in the same way, we have ana rayeh, ana rayha for the feminine. When we add the in, we're also going to have that little e sound swallowed up of rayeh. So try that. Try we are going. Ahna rayhin. Good. Ahna rayhin.
Adding that in.
Yes. No. So you'd have that plural for ehna we, and we can also learn they, so we can apply the plural again, which is entu. So entu actually, not they, you plural, which is entu. So for you, we've seen we have enter masculine, enti feminine, and we also have you plural, entu. So there again, we would use the plural. So we have arif, arfa. What's going to be the plural? Very good. You went from the feminine, right? Because we swallow the I. Arfin. So if you want to say, do you guys know? How would you do that? Antu arfin. Antu arfin. No? Do you guys know? So we have a you plural in Arabic as well as enta and enti.
So the declension is always in.
So I see your brains are kind of insisting on seeing them as verbs, and I promise they're not. I promise they're not. So this is not going to apply to verbs. Actually, we have a whole... Actually, what I'm doing in Introduction to Arabic is I'm weaving around the whole verb structure. I'm teaching you everything I can teach you without getting into verbs. And in the second part of this course, which I haven't published yet, it's just Intro to Arabic Online, is or would be or will be... applying that, everything we've learned in this first half to the verb structure, which actually it's just a really good way to learn Arabic because then all the verbs become so easy. But these are adjectives, no? So if you wanted to say people are generous, oh no, but that has a different plural. But anyway, I should never improvise. I have a script. It's so complicated to teach this way and not get yourself into a dead end.
Would it be Carolina?
It should be, but there's also internal plurals. So I think it's actually kuruma, but I can't really remember. I'm not sure if that's a herb. I teach a lot of languages. It's all, that's why I have a script. But yeah, there's internal plurals as well, but don't worry about that for now. Internal plurals like how you don't say mices, you say, like mouse, you don't say mouses, you say mouses and mice, or louse and lice. That's an internal plural, so Arabic does some of that. But again, there's patterns, but there's patterns to it. So, where were we? We're going to learn the word for what now, which in Egyptian Arabic is and I believe shul in Palestine, generally in the Levant, shul, but I would say So, how would you say, what do I know? How would you say, what do I know? أنا عارفة. So we have for what? And shu in the Levant, you hear a lot. So, the word for what?
That last phrase.
So, what do I know? I know what? Can you say it again, please? Good, and it's kind of emphatic, so you'd more likely use the word I there. أنا عارفة. No, because it's a bit more emphatic. All right. So you could also say, what do you guys know? No, you guys was entu. It's plural. So that adjective, what is an adjective, is going to become plural. So? And what happens when we add in to arif? What happens to that little I sound, like in arfa? So, entu? Entu arfine. What do you know? What do you know? How would you say I don't know? أنا مش عارف. I don't know where you guys are traveling. We can say that. Again, give me the first bit. Again, not from memory, thinking it through again. I don't know. أنا مش عارف. And just because I want to get you used to forgetting, not holding on to it, we don't know. So forget what you just said and now give me, we don't know. احنا مش عارفين. احنا مش عارفين where you guys are traveling. You guys are traveling where? So, what do we do with our thought process? The first place we go is, what are the routes for traveling? What are the routes? Only tell me that. Safara. Does that help bring the adjective verb thingy that we had for traveling? Even if what you think is, even if what you think you're going to say is going to be wrong, say it, and then your brain might correct you, and then you might find the right word. You see, safir, misafir. So just run with it. Run with it. Safara, safir, misafir, because you remembered that there was a slight exception. It had a me there. Good. So the plural of misafir, the feminine was misafra. We lose the little e sound. The same's going to happen with the plural. So we get misafrin. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Misafrin. So you could say that's travel in the plural. So it could work for we, for you guys. It could work for they, which we haven't won the word for they yet, but you can still talk about they if it's understood that we mean they. No, so it's going to work for all those plurals. So no, it was us, wasn't it? So احنا مش عارفين where you guys are traveling. You guys are traveling where? أنتو مسافرين. Very good. أنا مش عارف أنتم مسافرين فين. Good. So what was the word for what? Again, tell me the word for what. It was just like a vowel. Long vowel. The word for why in Arabic is le, which actually li means to. So it's like to what? Because of what? To what end? Like we do that in many languages like that. Like por qué in Spanish is for what. Yadi in Greek for what. So Arabic is the same there. Li become le, meaning why. What was the word for tomorrow? Bukra. So how would you say, do you know why we're not traveling tomorrow? Look, you've been learning Arabic for 54 minutes. And you can make these sentences not from memory, but thinking it through. So don't panic. We know that we only need to trust ourselves to have one thought at a time and give our brain the leisure of only having one thought at a time, not worrying about the whole sentence, what's coming next, one thought at a time. So, what was that sentence? Do you know why we're not traveling tomorrow? So the first chunk of that idea, of splitting that idea up is, do you know?
Is it you masculine?
Good question. Let's make it plural, as we're learning that.
Do you know?
Yeah, so do you know plural? One thought at a time. So what's the first thought? Actually, just take me to the first thought. What's the first thought? Entu, if we're going to say that. Entu, and then the first thought. So the first thought would be arif. No, that's like, and then we would add the e into that. And then we'd notice that it's like the feminine. And once we've done that a few times, the first thought might be arfin. So, entu arfin. Why we're not traveling tomorrow? We're not traveling tomorrow. Why? So the first bit. What is the first bit? No, in English. Sorry, tell me what is the first bit. So let's look at the idea. We're not traveling tomorrow. Why we're not traveling tomorrow? What's that first bit of the idea?
We are not.
Good. We are not, and it's kind of a bit bigger than that. Actually, the bit you all want to work with. Not traveling. That's the bit you kind of want to focus on and forget about the rest, right? So. Safrin was a good way to, it was good thinking, only this one has a little exception, it has the me at the beginning, no? So if you said Safrin, you followed the general pattern we have, only this is a little exception, Misafrin. So, احنا مش عارفين أنتو مسافرين why? ليه? Good. احنا مش عارفين أنتو مسافرين ليه? Good. I hope I said that correctly. Oh, was there a bukra in there? Oh my God, you are so right. Why we're not traveling or they're not traveling? Yeah, bukra. All right. All right, good. What was the word for school? Madrasa. Very good. And like many nouns showing where something happens, it begins with ma. No, ma showing where the durusu happens. We get madrasa. So I'm going to the school. To the school, we'll say in Arabic. Good. أنا رايحة il madrasa. We don't need to say to. What was because? It began with ein. Good, but give me ein. Pull it down. Ashen. Ashen or alashen, either one is fine. So we're not going to the office because we're traveling tomorrow. Of course we can say that. Of course we can say that. Just need to have one thought at a time. So the first thought, we're not going. So, that's the first idea, let's say, rather than the first thought. That's the first idea. And then we're going to have the first thought to break up that idea is we. What's the word for we? Entu is you guys. What's we? Ahna. Ahna, good. So, we, ahna, we're not going. Very good. Ahna mish raihin. But I love that I hear, raihin. Let your brain do that, right? And you'll find it. Ahna mish raihin. We're not going to the office. We're just going to say the office. Il maktab, because. Ashan. We are traveling tomorrow. Ahna, but you don't need to repeat it here because the person's not changing. No, you're saying we're not going to the office because we're not traveling tomorrow. No need to repeat ahna. So you just say misafrin bukra. Good. Look at the stuff you can say in Arabic. We also have an adjective version of the verb for wanting. Again, this is quite Egyptian. It's one of the words that you will say where people go, Egyptian Arabic, right? I think in Palestine it's biddi, I think. But in we're going to use the Egyptian. We have awiz, or that's kind of just shortened to eyes often. So it's ein, no, awiz. Awiz, it's much closer to our pattern, but that's because it's such a common word, eyes. And what do you think the feminine of eyes is? Aiza. No? So I would say eyes is more informal as well, huh? Awiz, eyes, auza. Auza, Aiza. Either way, we can stick with eyes and whatever one comes to sooner for now. Huh? Want. Want and wanting. No? Alright, so I gave you actually the masculine and the feminine. What is the plural? Auzin, Aizin. Either one. We don't want. Ahna mish azin. Good. Ahna mish azin. Why don't you guys want it? Or why don't you guys want? Why don't you guys want? So you guys, entu, very good. Like enta, enti, but plural. Entu. Mish azin. Entu mish azin. La means no. Le. Long vowel. Entu mish azin le. La is the word for no, by the way. It has that fun glottal stop. La or la'a. La'a is more emphatic.
Yes.
I don't know why I had to think about that. Aywa. Aywa. I don't know why you don't want. I don't know why you don't want. How would you say that? أنا مش عارف. You don't want why. And let's talk female. Anti. Let's talk to anti, to female. Anti مش عاوزة. ليه? I don't know why you don't want. أنا مش عارف. أنت مش عاوزة. ليه? Or you could also say, I don't know what you want. It's going to be a very similar sentence. أنا مش عارف. أنا مش عارفة. You want what? Let's talk plural. Alzin or Aizin, either one. Alzin, Aizin. Close enough. Good. Good. All right, shake it off. I'm going to give you a similar sentence, but not from memory. I don't want anything from memory. I want you to think it through again. Now we're going to say, we don't understand what you guys want. So the roots for understanding, I'm just going to give you the roots. Fahama. Fahama. We saw it before. It doesn't matter. Fahama, the roots for understanding. It's going to fit in the same kind of adjective verb pattern thing that we've been seeing, right? So if we want to say, we don't understand, what's that? We don't understand. Now we need to put fahama into our pattern. So what does that give us? Fahim. Now we need to make that plural. So this is what I mean by one thought at a time, no? Right? And then It's not so comfortable, is it? So what can we do to make it more comfortable? Fahmin. So when the E disappears, the syllables kind of change, right? You have fahim, fahma, fahmin. No?
How did you get fahama to fahma?
So, fahama is our understanding, no? Our pattern for adjective verbs like shayif, raya. We just put in the fahim, the fahama, the roots, just fit in the same pattern as shayif. So they sound so different. Shayif, seeing, for example. Arif, raya. But it's the same pattern. Fahim, a-i. So, root, root, i, root. No, so it's easier to work over the templates of the actual sounds. No. So shayif, fahim is a good actual one to use as a template because we've got 3 clear consonants there. Fahama, fahim, no. And then we can put other root sounds over that. Shayif, raya. So we don't understand. Ehna mish fahmin what you guys want. So eyes or ours. So again, remembering the first sound helps. So we can remember it's another word that starts with ein. Just remembering that first sound will help bring us to ours. Maybe we want to work more with ours because it's closer to our pattern, like our arif pattern. No, but it could be eyes. What? ايه انتوا عايزين ايه احنا مش فاهمين انتوا عايزين ايه we don't understand WTF you guys want. All right, the word for from in Arabic, new type of word, so shake off everything else, don't try and hold on to anything else. The word for from is min. This is a word like and. Actually, what did and mean? At. No, and at, min, from me is minni. This is where min fadlak comes from. Good. So min fadlak means, or min fadlik, or min fadlukum, means please. And it's literally from your grace in that min fadlak. So min fadlak would be to a male. We have the A again of enter. So that's where A is masculine, like in enter, min fadlak. If it was to a female, it would be min fadlik, just like enti. So min is from, min fadlak please literally is from your grace. No? Good. Faddallah is the root. Ak means your, which is why it's the bit that changes for the female. Ik. But don't worry about this now. But it's in the course, it's in the Intro to Arabic course, but I don't want to distract you. From minni, meaning from me. So min from, minni from me. What do you want from me? What? Yeah. The N doubles, well no, good notice, the N doubles there. Minni, min, minni. So, what do you want from me? Talk to whoever you want, female, male, everybody, the world. So we have that issue again, don't we, with the question word. Where does the question word go? After the verb rather than at the end, right? So the end is our brains wanting to be lazy, right? But after the verb is the more specific. Our brain's always going to want to generalize and put it at the end, right? But it's most common next to the verb. So let's talk plural, for example. Entu auzin e minni. It's flexible. You could have it the other way as well, no? But generally speaking, we're going to have the question word closer to the verb. What was the word for because again? Good. Starts with ayn. Everyone, I heard a lot of as there come out. Ashen, alashen. You could also put this e, the e like minni, on alashen to mean because of me. You can do that in Arabic as well. So how would because of me be? Good. Ashani. Ashani, because of me. This E I mentioned can also be possession. No?
Even as a male, me.
Sorry?
Even as a male, you would then put Ashen.
Yeah, so this is actually possession, so this doesn't have any gender. So like for example, when you say Habibi, that's my darling. No, the E also means I. Sorry?
Anyone can say habibi, like regardless of their gender.
Yeah. You might also hear Habibti talking to a female. No. And even there, because Habibi is so common, some people just use Habibi with females as well, because it's just like a bit of an arseache to be Habibti all the time. But it depends. Yeah, that's like a dialect thing, an idiolect thing, a personal dialect thing, right? But the E is just me or my. No. So minni, from me, andi would mean what? At me. And this is also what you can use for have in Arabic. In Arabic, interestingly, you don't really have a verb for have, you say at me. So if you want to say I have a house, you say at me house. House was bet, like better, those words come from the same root. I'm going to explain that actually, because that's amazing. The alphabet, no. Alif, you have that line meaning A in Arabic, which is called alif. And then you have the B, which come from a hieroglyphic sign, which was a house. So that's why the alphabet is Alif Bet, because the B come from an odd sign for house, literally. And the hieroglyphic sign, you can look for it, it's like literally like that. Amazing, huh? So Bet and Bet are connected, Bet, house. So actually my house, you can say my house. How would you say my house if Habibi is my darling? Betty, Betty. So you can say, are you coming to my house? We had gay as the root for coming, so let's talk plurally. Are you guys coming to my house? And to gain my house? Betty. And to gain Betty? Good. So this is quite a flexible little E. No, it can mean me, it can mean my. No. How would you say from the house? What was the word for from? Min. The word for something in Arabic is haga. Haga. What H do we have there in haga? The breathy H, right? The breathy H. So whenever we come across a H, we want to kind of know which one we have, just to not then when we reproducing the words go, oh no, what am I doing here? Is that a ha? Is that a ha? Is that a ch? Right? Because you have those three. Do you want something from the house? So, bit by bit. Do you want? Let's talk to male. Enter, always, and dies, either one. Something that had the breathy H. From the house. Min the il bet. Min il bet. Min il bet. Enter, always, or if we're talking female, anti auza haga min il bet. Good. Do you know where the house is? Let's talk female. Do you know where the house is? No. So what? No. Also start with ayn. If you've ever met anybody called Arif, it's the knowledgeable one. So Arif, our roots for knowing. So Arif, good. So let's say we know. What is we know? Ehna arfin. You guys know? Entu arfin. Do you guys know where the house is? Do you guys know the house where? Good. Entu arfin. And then what kind? Ilbet. Fair. There we have the question word. We have the invisible to be, don't we? Do you know where the house is? Even though we're not saying it. Don't you know where the house is? Let's speak plurally. Don't you know where the house is? Good, arfin. Antum mish arfin where the house is? Ilbet fan. Good, very good. What was again the word for something? Haga. Good. So we saw there that we had the breathy H, right? Just like in Habibi, no? That breathy H. And I mentioned there that the I there is my, no? My Habib, Habibi. So, or my Habib, Habibi. So if you want to say my house, how would you do that? Betty. So you could say, don't you know where my house is? Let's speak to a female. Don't you know where my house is? The first bit, all of our mental energy just on don't you know? No? Very good. أنت مش عارفة my house where? بيتي فين, or like I said in the 11th, you will hear when, no, for where, you could hear that, well, you will hear that. Good. Hold on, 15 minutes. All right, you guys are holding out very well with this concentration, huh? All right, we're going to learn we're going to go back to the glottal stop now. The word for where, the word for now in Arabic is dilwati. The word for now, dilwati. So there we have a new consonant, again, another new consonant in Arabic, which is just like a little piece of silence, right? It's a glottal stop. And as we mentioned before, it's what we have like in Cockney. It's like what I say, I'm actually saying it now, right? When I go, what, that's actually the glottal stop. So, wa. It's the same sound that we have there in Arabic. Dilwati, dilwati, dilwati. So that means now. Literally something like this time, literally, now. So you can say, are you coming to my house now? Let's speak again to female. Are you coming to my house now? Good. You're looking forward to that sound there. Anti gaya beti dilwati, or J we would hear in the Levant, right? The gay is very Egyptian. Good. So we have the word for now, dilwati, which literally means something like this time. And then the word for today is anaharda, which kind of literally means something like this, the day. Anaharda, anaharda. So what is the word for today? Anaharda. Good. So how would you say, are you guys going to the school today? Are you guys going to the office today? Let's say that. So, are you guys going is the first bit. أنتوا رايحين to the office. المكتب النهارده. Very good. All right, now let's ask, are you going to the library today? Let's speak plurally. Are you guys going to the library today? So, are you guys going? أنتوا رايحين the library. Maktab, give us office and desk. Maktaba, good. Today. And naharda, good. Now let's make it negative now. Forget it, we're going to rebuild it. Aren't you guys going to the library or the bookstore today? So aren't you guys going? Antumish rahin. Antumish rahin to the bookstore. Il maktaba today. And naharda. Good, good. So I mentioned in Arabic that we don't like to have three consonants together, right? A very good word to kind of like base this idea around, because you will notice it all the time, is the word bas, which means but. And you can clearly hear it ends with two S's. No? Bas. Which means if you have a consonant after bas, you're going to want a little helping vowel in there. No? The same with like and, at. It has nd at the end. So it's another word we're going to get used to looking out for if we have a consonant after it, right? If we're going to want to stick a little helping vowel in there. Bas, other than but, also means enough. So you will hear it like that a lot. Bas. Any Spanish speakers? No, but Spanish speakers? Basta in Spanish. Related. So, bas, enough, stop. Also, you can mean it like only, like I'm only playing. No, I'm only joking. So quite a flexible little word there, bas. So you can say, I'm not going now, but I'm going tomorrow. So the first bit is I'm not going now. Now was the word with a glottal stop, but we'll worry about that when we get there. For now, we want all our mental energy just on the I'm not going bit. Ana mish raya, ana mish raiha. But I'm going tomorrow. So I keep losing my right. I'm not going now, but I'm going tomorrow. So this is interesting, right? I'm not going now. أنا مش رايح دلوقتي. Oh, maybe we missed that word out. Sorry. Bus. Right. I'm going tomorrow. Now, if we repeat Anna, we don't need the helping vowel, but it's not natural to repeat Anna because we're already talking about I, right? So we're going to say bas mish, but that's like months. No, that's like welcome. We can't do that, right? So when we say bas mish, we're going to put a little helping vowel in there. Good. Bas mish. So I'm going basamish, but I'm not going today or tomorrow. Sorry. This is also a bit of a mental workout for me, by the way, guys. Don't know if you started to notice.
Time for tea.
Oof. All right. So I'm not going now. أنا مش رايح دلوقتي, but I'm going tomorrow. Well, if you say it slowly, you won't have it. But when you put it together, bassa bukra. Bassa bukra. I'm going. You just repeat raya. Bassa bukra raya. No? So I'm not going now. Ana mish raya دلوقتي. I said but tomorrow. All right, you could say that. Sorry, I didn't realise I was saying that. Bassa bukra raya or bassa raya bukra. Either way is fine. The important point was the helping vowel. Right? That after the two S's, if you have another consonant, you're going to want to put that in there. Give me again, understand. Good.
Nope.
And now just make it sound a little bit more like the other patterns. No? So what the first thought you had was brilliant. It showed us the roots. Fahama. Now we just have to make it sound a little bit more like shayif. But fahama in the pattern that we learned with arif, raya. Fahim. Shayif. Fahim. No? So you need some practice working with these patterns. It's kind of an intuitive way. It's like a weird way of rhyming, right? It's kind of rhyming, but not. It takes a little bit of practice. But once you have that, it's really easy to put these consonants into different patterns. No, and to notice that they're the same pattern, even though words like shayif, fahim look so different. So fahim for the masculine or the neuter, if we don't know what we're talking about, it's also used for that. For the feminine, we have fahma, and the plural. Good. You can say, let's say, for example, you don't understand, but we understand. How would you say that? You don't understand. Let's talk to a male. You don't understand. Enter for males. Enter mish fahim. Enter mish fahim. But ehna, we already have a vowel on ehna. We don't need any helping vowel. Fahmin. Good. So we need the word for he and she, no? That's useful. So for he we have huwa, and for she we have hayya, which are kind of like the same word. If you think about it, wa and ya are very related letters, especially in Arabic. In English, they're the two letters that give us vowel sounds that are actually consonants. So it's kind of like the same word with like a phonetic variation. So huwa, he, hayya, she. No? How would we say, but she, whatever? Good. Basahaya. We need a little basahaya. But he, basahuwa, whatever. No? Whatever comes after that. So you can say, I'm going to the office, but she is going to the bookstore. This is me improvising. I'm going to the office. And Araiha, but she, Basahaya, is going. Now Haya is feminine, right? It's she. So what do we use there? Raiha, the bookstore. So the kutub, maktab, is more where the writing happens, and then in the feminine, it's more where the books happen. Maktaba. So where the books happen is like library or bookstore, and then where the writing happens, office or desk. No? Good. Sorry, I keep looking at time thinking, how much am I going to wrap up in 5 minutes?
Just a quick question. You mentioned the neuter. What is neuter?
So neuter is like when you don't mention gender, right?
I mean, is it child neuter? Is it German, for example?
No. So I don't know. You might refer to a dog and not know its gender, for example. You might say something wants, you know, there. But that,
It's it.
yeah, it.
So in Arabic, if you're saying like someone's outside, you can't see them.
Exactly, that's a
then
good
that would be,
example.
like, neutral, gender neutral.
Thank you. You hear someone knocking on the door. You don't have these windows.
Okay. So it's someone.
Yeah, exactly. That's the concept, right? All right. Actually, you know what? Because we're finishing up, I won't plumber you with any more information. I'll just ask you if you have any questions. So, like I said at the beginning, I'm experimenting with fitting all of the essential content of the intro course into 90 minutes. This is my first experiment with it today. So we didn't do it. There's a lot more information on, which is good news. There's a lot more information on the Introduction to Arabic course that you can do online, which is much more paced than this. But we did learn a lot of essential concepts which are really going to help you. Those words you learn, you're going to be able to search for the roots, try and apply them to other places. You know, any Arabic you expose yourself to, thinking in this way is going to help you learn. And that also goes for consuming Arabic, so like music, for example, you know. There's a lot of cool, I love Lebanon for music at the moment. A lot of cool young folks in Lebanon making also music. And, you know, music, movies, you can analyze what you come across, thinking about patterns and roots, and continue adding to your Arabic. But like I mentioned, you've got Introduction to Arabic online, which is around 5 hours of this. That best advice always to pause the audio. Yeah, it's at the website, or you can just download the app for free, just searching for language transfer. Always pause the audio to think it out yourself rather than just following. It's important that you go through that mental process before hearing what my student replies in the class. Eventually I'm going to make complete Arabic, but so yeah, and now I wanted to open up for questions, so go for it.
So is this your method?
Yeah.
You've worked out how languages work for you and you've decoded it for us?
Yeah, so the Socratic method, this question and answer thing, well, Socratic, I wasn't the first one to do it, you know. The method, the way I'm weaving this together is yeah, very much mine. Yeah, and I...
Behind you, 'cause I've got to go.
That's all right, thank you. Oh, thank you. Sorry, where were we?
Yeah.
I'm very easily distracted.
Yes, the way you've broken the... We used to see the pattern.
Yeah, so a big part of my work, like I wish my work was just reading grammar books and seeing how to interlink it. But everything you read in grammar books is wrong because it's coming from a really warped perspective. Like that's why in languages you have 50 rules and 50 exceptions to everything, because they haven't figured out what the actual rule is. It's always a simplification really generated often by the language, the base language that person speaks, which ironically is called negative language transfer. And that's why my project is called Language Transfer. There's a lot of irony behind the merch in my project. But yeah, so I have a quite complicated job. What I do is first I've got to read the grammars, and then I've got to talk to native speakers and figure out what's really going on, reframe all of that grammar, and then painstakingly work out how I weave all of that together. And that's so much work that I wouldn't be motivated if I was selling it. So that's why it's free.
About how are you in, so my dad's Egyptian.
So he says, Izaya.
Isaiah, right, so that's what I know as how are you, but...
You want to break it down?
Yeah, please.
So
it's Kefalik.
So in Egyptian, you have Izay, which means how, and then ak is literally the ending for you. And I mentioned before, I can't remember in what context, that we'd have an ik if it was feminine, just like enta min fadlak. That was your question as well, right? So in the same way you have please min fadlak, from your grace, you have the ak for masculine possession or the ik for feminine possession. In the same way, that's used for possession, and also like you, in the way I meant my and me. So izayak, how are you? Izayik to female.
Whenever I say it, other Arabs are like,
Yeah, but for me, but Arabs that grow up here maybe, that are not very pan-Arabic, because someone that's more like pan-Arabic, let's say, that is very used to mixing with Arabs from different places, they know that's Egyptian, because they've watched movies, they've listened to music, so you would say Zayak and they'd be like, oh, Egyptian.
Yeah.
Where maybe someone that grew up here, they're just like, what is that?
yeah.
You know, if they're not plugged into the cultural world, yeah.
The first time I said it, because
I would say shukran gazila when I was little to be like thank you very much. And I remember saying it once as a grown up, and the person was like, he started laughing at me, and I was like, oh, what did I say wrong? He was like, no, Egyptian.
Shukran, by the way, means thank you. That's a useful word. Let's get the roots out of it. I can't believe that in every workshop I give, there is some reason to mention Shakira. This is ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. But shukran, what are the roots? Shukra. Right. So looking at that word, it could be shukra or it could be shukra, because I mentioned sometimes you'd get 4. In this case, it is shukra. The no is part of the pattern. So shukra means thank you. And this is where we're going back to Shakira, whose father is from Lebanon, I believe. And her name means grateful. Right? It's the same root. Shukra.